So during this quarantine, I've put my good skill to use and watched all of season 3 of Castlevania. And let me tell you, it was amazing. I mean, they're really coming into their own this season. They had a really good time balancing the flaws of humanity with the importance of foresight. It reminded me of an early Game of Thrones. If you haven't watched it, definitely take time. My favorite thing though about Castlevania is the way that they portray women. This by far is the best female representation I've seen across the board in the nerd space. Check it. Last week, I did a full video on the Queen Bulma and how amazing she is and all of her accomplishments. And I got a lot of pushback on it. Some people even mentioned that they didn't know she was a scientist. I mean, come on. But you know what? It made me realize, how can you see past those massive boobs and her emphasis on the boyfriend? Bulma, like many female characters in animes and comic books and sci-fi, suffer from what I call FSS, or fan service syndrome. For those of you who don't know, which most of you shouldn't because I just made it up, fan service syndrome is when a creator introduces a primary female character with one of the following caveats. 1. Her titties are inexplicably exposed or highlighted during combat. 2. She's introduced as the top of her field and then immediately becomes some lovelorn mess. 3. She's introduced as ditzy, gross, or clumsy. 4. Despite how powerful and strong she is, she's constantly needed to be saved. Or 5, her relevance in the story just completely dissipates. I see it all the time in comics, sci-fi, fantasy, but I have to say the biggest offender of that is anime, which is why Castlevania is just so refreshing. Castlevania displays women as nuanced and strong time and time again. Take the main character, Sypha. She's rescued very early in the series, but that's more of her not knowing quite what she's getting into. Since then, her growth in her powers, strength, and even maturity has expanded tenfold. So much so that she becomes an irreplaceable member of the team, even playing a main part in the villain's death. And yes, she starts to get jiggy with the main character, Trevor Belmont, but at no time does it feel like he's taking advantage of her or she's so head over heels that she can't focus on anything else. I mean, the girl goes from doing minor manipulation with fire and water to flying and cutting demons in half with ice. Incredible. Even if you look at the villains in Castlevania, they're all showing women in a different light. The newest villain, Camilla, is tactical and strong and is spending the entire series trying to figure out how can she build an army. Her sisters all represent all of the different weapons that women hold into their arsenal. She got one sister, I've been calling her Xena the Warrior Princess, is nothing but hands and she's massive and feared. And then she has another sister, Lenore, that uses love and manipulation and influence to get what she wants. And it's honestly everything I've ever wanted in these shows. And they all manage it, may I add, without showing their titties once. I mean, one girl does actually show her titties, but it's with a purpose to propel the story forward, and it's at the expense of the guy she's showing it to. You see? Feminism. If you guys want to hear more, I actually have a full interview with Patty Cakes BK on Castlevania and what we really like about it. It's a lot of fun and it's conflict free because we did it in a secluded area instead of somewhere public. So, what did you guys think about Castlevania, or how do you feel about female representation in anime? Let me know in my comments below. Until next time, have a fantastic week, my friends.